Alright, here we go. It's 2 fucking a.m. in the morning and I cannot sleep and I have a crazy cold. So pardon the puffy eye and the red face and total exhaustion. But you know, it is what it is. I just had this download about how we can transition from this current reality. Reality is the wrong word. This current way of living on this planet and transition into a much better world from this one. Like, it's never come to me how are we gonna do that? How are we gonna go from this polluted, catastrophic nightmare we've created, yay us, into something that actually makes sense? That doesn't involve, like, well, anyway, whatever. I don't know. It never made sense to me. Okay, so I just had a total felt experience, and I worked through a whole bunch of stuff through it, which some of it I can't say in words. So I'm going to share what I can about it and hope that it makes some sense. And again, sorry about the presentation, but it's what's happening. Okay, so all right. So the first thing that happens is all of the stuff that you are ashamed of, that I am ashamed of, that every single human on this planet is ashamed of. All the horrible things we've done and thought and felt that we hide. And all the pain that we've suffered and all the suffering. And all the, like, just all the uncomfortable, horrible, nightmarish shit that we bury inside. That is certainly some of it from this life, and a lot of it is from the past, I don't know how many thousands of years of us not wanting to look at stuff and burying things, that we're carrying from our ancestors and from just all of humanity. Eckhart Tolle calls it the pain body. It's like a pain freaking elephant, man, or whale. But I don't want to desecrate the whales, the elephants. It's a pain giant. Anyway, that enormous, enormous amount of just horrible, icky crap, awful, the most nightmarish stuff that we're all lugging around. The first thing that happens is we release that and set it free. We stop hiding it and holding it down and suppressing it. And we let it go into the sun. And it's a part of me. So, when I was walking through this, it was like, why should I trust you? I won't trust anybody. I need to hide because I'm bad. Bad to the bone. Okay, yeah, okay. This is all very serious. And it's a good question. Like, why should all this crap that we've spent thousands of years hiding, why should we do anything nice with it? I'm not going with it yet. Though that is part of the answer. I will go, even while I'm in this body. It's because the sun, many people talk about this, Aurora, Matthias de Stefano, and it's sun salutation. Basically, like, the sun can be thought of in many different ways. So, like, pick your analogy. I'm going to use a few. One is it's a portal to God or other dimensions. Another is, I think this one's from Aurora. It's a neuron, the closest neuron in the brain of God. I have little antenna. I know you care. Okay. And so, if we set this free, like out of from having to hide in pain and agony in my system, if I send it to God, set it free in God, oh, it's liberation for that part of myself. And I don't want to hurt it. It's me. I don't want to hurt myself. I'm already in so much pain, like I'm not gonna make it worse. It doesn't help. It is sincerely in my best interest to set this part of me free in a beautiful way that is loving and supporting of me. And because it is me, right? So this is very much a healing, a beautiful gift to give to this part of me that has suffered for so long and hidden in the dark. Suffered from being hidden in the dark for so long. This distortion, this shadowy, awful stuff. And, part of it is that I understand that part of my work here as a human in this body is to connect with God. Like to be fully conscious, like be human, fully conscious of my humanness and that I'm here and in this body, fully accepting of that. Isn't that fun? Even in this state. And to be fully conscious that I am God, and that I am Source. And so my goal in the moment, this is how I think about it, is to fully connect with the sun, to fully connect with the brain of God, right? To have a part of me fully consciously connected with that portal, with that neuron, so that I am thinking the thoughts of God. Because I am God, right? And so that's, you could call it enlightenment if you want. That's a nice word for it. And I don't need to leave this physical body to do that, I hope. We'll see. We'll see if all this works. Who knows? Anyway, okay, so on we go with this amazingly crazy, wonderful, totally possible idea. I actually do believe this is possible. 100%, 1,000, million, thousands of years percent. No, I really do believe. I'm being funny about the number of years, but okay, so first thing we do is all of us set ourselves free. We set that part of ourselves that we have been hiding for our whole lives, that our ancestors have been hiding for their whole lives, that humanity has been collectively hiding for thousands of years. And we let it go. We set it free into God. We give it into God. And just like take a moment to feel in that moment when we all do that, how liberating and free you're going to feel. Because that part of you that has been so hidden and contracted and in so much suffering and pain is finally open and free and completely seen and able to just be who and what it is in all of its glory. Nightmare, suffering, horrible, just, I've been there, man. I've felt the depths of our depravity. And all of that can be free. All of it. And just so take a moment and feel, imagine what that will feel like. In that moment, you will be so léger, so light. Of course, the next moment, you could get embarrassed or be jealous or have a fight, but it will be your jealousy and your fight, and it will be free from all that other stuff, anything you've done before. anything your ancestors did, and all the thousands of years before, right? And because we know that all of us will have done that, we'll all be on the same page. We'll all be free. We'll all be lighter. We'll all be understanding each other. And we can be in a state of, what did Blair say? Voluntary cooperation. It came finally. Voluntary cooperation. No hierarchy. None. This is called anarchy. But we have so many issues with that word, I don't want to even use it. I like voluntary cooperation. You can think of it as egalitarianism, cooperation, community, respect. Human, family, like but not maybe family's not a good word. Nor is tribe. Okay. So we start from there. And then let's get into the physical aspects. How do we deal with the material world? So that's the internal world, right? So now we have to have the external world follow. How do we do that? Because we got a lot of shit to clean up outside too. So well, okay, first, an easier thing to understand is how we exchange goods. Because this is such a big deal right now. Is how do we do a moneyless system? Is it decentralized? Is it crypto? Is it how do we do local money? What do we do? Yeah, no money and no barter. Or at least not one-to-one barter. It's kind of like barter, but it's not actually barter. So I don't want to use the word barter because that's confusing. It is you do what makes your heart sing because you want to do it and for the joy and nourishment of doing it. So let's say I make hats. I don't make hats, but let's say I make hats. I make hats because I want to. And it's beautiful. And let's say I make 10 hats. And then I sing the song of hat into the world. That's an Egyptian god. I don't mean that. I sing the song of I've made beautiful hats, and these are the kinds of hats they are. And also, we have developed, kind of telepathy through that. Like, just like as you can feel when someone's happy or sad, you can feel the hatness coming through. And so, someone who is desirous of a hat, who wants to receive a hat, listens for the song of hatness. Sorry, hat. Listens to the song of hatness. This is also serious. And I mentioned it's 2 a.m. Listens to the song of hatness. Like, I want a hat. Where's hat? And feels for the energy of hat, who's singing the song of hat? Who's putting out the song of I have hats to give. And they come and they take a hat. Great. Maybe they take all 10. Like, it doesn't matter. It's because I make them because it nourishes me and I want to do it. And there's zero obligation. Maybe no one takes any of them. It's fine. It doesn't matter. And then you're like, yeah, but who's going to do the stuff I don't want? Who's going to make all our food? Well, farmers or people who want to farm, right? Because it nourishes them to farm. And so when I'm hungry, I go to a farm, or maybe I go to the store down the road because there's someone whom it nourishes them to go to the farm, take the vegetables and the fruits and the meats that the farmers are happy to give away, and they bring it to their shop and they refrigerate it. And they do what needs to be done to keep it nice. And you go to the store when you're hungry and you just take what you want and what you need. It's as simple as that. But then you're like, but how does the farmer get fed? Well, okay, so the farmer can eat his own food. That's pretty easy. But, it's more important for the farmers. How does the farmer get things to power his machines? How does the farmer get a machine? So he sings the song of wanting a machine. You can also do that. It works always, giving, receiving, wanting, giving, receiving, wanting, desiring, offering. You can sing any of the songs you want. So, he sings a song of, hey, I need a tractor. And so someone's, maybe multiple people get together, make tractors, and they hear him, and they work it out. He goes and gets it, or they drive it to him, or whatever, because it makes their heart sing to know they're bringing their tractor to the farmer. Yay! And if this sounds silly, well, it's about that simple, guys. Like, we make it really complicated, but there are people that like making Ferraris. They do it for fun. So if you want a Ferrari, you go look for one. You'll find one. And if not, you sing the song of wanting a Ferrari, and someone who wants to make one but hasn't before will be like, someone wants a Ferrari. They'll be like, hey, I'll make one for you. And that's it. Done. And just imagine that everything flows like that. And if your brain starts finding like why that won't work, don't. Because go there and solve that problem, right? Oh, but people are going to get too many resources. No, they're not, because we don't need to fight. What are you fighting for? You don't need to fight for power. It's egalitarian. Everyone's working together, right? So the desire for power over other is often because you don't feel powerful. You feel disempowered. Well, why do you feel disempowered? So you sing the song of like, fuck, I feel disempowered. Someone help me with that. And someone will come and help you. Someone will come and help you feel empowered so that you don't need to like fight people about it. You know? It's really, we make it so complicated because we're so far away from our needs. And we've generated all these needs that we don't actually have. I mean, we've manufactured needs for stuff that we have to manufacture a need for. It's silly. Whatever. The point is, we go on an open exchange. And that's it. It's simple. And we won't have famines. Don't worry. Farmers like to farm. I've spent the past 2 years with farmers. They freaking love it, man. Don't worry about that. And the farmers who were like, oh my God, all the city people are going to move to the country. No, they're not, because they want to be in discos. They want to be in bars. They want to have their whatever stuff they want to have. Okay. So, we've got the wants and needs sorted out, but how do we deal with the pollution and like all the excess crap that we're not going to need? I hope we're not going to need it. But certainly like the plastic in the oceans. So as I was going through all of this, I was coming up with like different ideas. And the one that makes the most sense to me comes from an idea about what we did in Atlantis, apparently, was we could use our voices to like change the structure of things, right? So that says to me, we should be able to use our voices to discorporate things. So we could say degrade or degenerate, but I don't really like those words. I like discorporate, corp meaning body, core. So discorporating something, not in the make it disappear Harry Potter sense, in the sense of like taking apart molecule by molecule so that it disintegrates, but that's not a great word, but discorporates into, it divides down into its constituent parts, the molecules, atoms, could even be down into the atomic structure or lower, whatever, but some innocuous level, right? Some non-noxious level. So the plastics can discorporate, can divide into constituent parts. Atoms could be fine. Molecules of plastic aren't great, but the atomic parts of plastic could be fine. And then they dissolve naturally into the water or the ground or the air in a non-toxic way. So we need to figure out, how small do they need to be so that they're not toxic to whatever environment they're in, but we can do that. We're pretty smart. I mean, we made them. We put them together. We can take them apart. And we do this with our minds, people, our energy. It doesn't have to be the human mind. It's maybe the bigger mind. you know, with the power of our chakra system being fully aligned and our ability to express that and bring things into creation and also help them discreate. But you know, we're not creating molecules. Well, we're not sorry, we're not creating matter. We're not destroying matter. Um, we're taking matter that exists, like, I don't know what this bottle is, what's in front of me, but you know, it's glass. But what if it was plastic, for instance, floating in the ocean? So we take this beautiful glass bottle, we imagine this plastic in the ocean, and we break it down with our minds, our energy, our song, into its atomic parts, and it dissolves in the water, and it's fine. Like, it doesn't hurt the water, it doesn't hurt the fish. It's totally innocuous. Okay, so we take all toxins and do that. All of them. And we stop creating more. Sorry. We need to have non-toxic solutions for everything, period. Like, that's just what we do. We did it before. We can do it again. We don't need to, I mean, we can do that, guys. There are people that already know how to do most of it. We just suppress it because we have so much industrial inertia behind plastic and things that are really awful. Oil. Anyway. And if you're like, oh my God, what about energy? How do we do that without oil? Guys, there's quite a few people who have discovered already how it's called free energy. Look it up on the internet. I don't know about now. I haven't looked it up in a long time, but there's quite a few people who've done it. Magically, their labs get burned down, or their notebooks get stolen, or anyway. But suffice to say, energy is not a problem as soon as you take away the whole desire for making money and being powerful and all this kind of stuff. I mean, you are powerful and you will have plenty of resources. Don't worry. That's the thing. You don't need to. Do we really need to go down that road? Okay, so we have energy. Oh my God, my brain is a little bit scrambled. Hold on. Where was I? Right. So how do we deal with the physical world is, like, how do we go from where it is now to where we want it, where I want it to be, which is clean and nice and beautiful and non-toxic for us and the beings around us. All right, so we can discorporate things. We can divide matter down into small enough particles that it is non-toxic. And not only that, we can do that with pollutants, but we can also do that with, like, buildings that no one wants anymore, roads that no one wants anymore. I don't know, abandoned landmines. Yeah, wasn't even thinking of that, but Lao could use that. I was thinking of mines that mine, like, bitumen and, you know, like old abandoned mines for different heavy metals and things like that. We can go clean those up, restore the land, the holes in the ground, the water. Like, we can do all that kind of stuff can be done. We don't need to replant forests. Just leave them alone. You know, and let the indigenous people who cut them down, because we've taken everything from them. And so their only means of survival is to cut down forest. You know, we leave them alone and they can continue their lives like that if they want. Because the rest of us won't be cutting down forests, and we won't be so mad at them for continuing to do what they do, because we won't be doing it when we don't need to. Okay, I'm kind of rambling now. Sorry. But you get the idea. The idea is pollutants, things we don't want anymore, things that we make that we realize we don't want anymore, we can discorporate. There's probably a better word than that, but that's the one I have in the moment. Dematerialize, but it's still material. I don't want to have the idea that we make it less than material, because I don't think we should be creating matter or trying to uncreate matter. That doesn't seem good. Which also is how we create things. So just in the way that we can discorporate, we can also corporate. So I can make a hat by walking out and, you know, I don't know, what do you make hats out of? Felt? So wool, maybe I can go ask a sheep if it's too hot and it wants to give me some of its wool, and I do what I need to do to make felt, and I make hats out of that. Or if I really wanted to, I could do it, I could create a hat out of the matter around me that's willing to come and be a hat, and I sing it into existence. Why not? Using my energy and my voice. And I make beautiful hats, or I make little widgets. Why not? Or I make buildings or skyscrapers or cars. I don't know. What do you want to make? You can make it. And you can either make it from the material world, though I think, oh well, okay, it's my world so far, it's my idea. So my idea is that you ask the matter, what matter wants to come and do this? And if enough matter wants to come and do it, then you make it. If you don't have enough matter to make your 60-story building, then maybe you make a 50-story building. Okay. And then later, if other matter is like, that's cool, I want to do that, they knock on your door and they're like, hey, want to make the next 10? We're here. This is all very serious, guys. What else? I hope that's clear. I mean, I think I'm giving you enough examples. The point is, it's never been clear to me how we go from this, sorry, but super fucked up, I mean, just really messy and horrible state of just darkness. Dark is okay, but like it's just the opposite of light, and it's necessary. It's where things are created and born. Darkness is not a problem. It's shadow, distortion. It's distortion that's the problem. It's hiding, right? It's all the things we're hiding and distorting. How do we go from a super distorted, time space into one that's clean in all ways? And this is it. This is one way to do that. And I was just listening to Matthias de Stefano talking about, and I've been studying a lot, like different cultures' ideas of time, and like big time, like yugas, right? Like thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years. So, sorry, Matthias de Stefano said something about, the Atlantean civilization was like 2,500 years old, and they knew, because they were so connected with the cycles of nature, unlike us, they knew that their civilization was ending because, it was a cyclical part of nature. The last 500 years were really awful, and that's what most people remember because it was not great. There's a lot of heaviness from that. And the point is, how do we end this and do something better than Atlantis, right? We need to learn from what happened in Atlantis, like even the good parts of Atlantis, and do it better. And it feels like this is what that is. So it takes some of the technologies of Atlantis, like singing the blocks, cutting the blocks for the pyramids and singing them into place, which I see all over Portugal. I see blocks, not blocks, but big boulders carefully balanced on other boulders. That's super fun. I don't know why no one else sees that. That's because I'm crazy. Yay. Anyway. Yeah, okay. We don't need to go there. It takes some of the technologies of Atlantis, of like paying attention to nature and singing things, and makes and then puts them into this time space, like the one we're in now, and allows us to transform, to evolve from this very material place, I mean, this very real place, which is material, right? How do you go from this into a very enlightened space? Like into one that is egalitarian and beautiful and allows for all the stupid stuff we have now. I mean, everything. Like toxins and banks and, I mean, yay for banking, but come on. And just corrupt governments and wars and all this stuff. How do we shift from that to something better than Atlantis? And this is one possibility. This is one. So, I don't know. I hope that's clear enough that you can play with it and triangulate with it, and I hope you make it better. That's just how my higher self dropped it into me, and I was able to understand it, and that's what I'm able to communicate to you. If you have questions and you want to ask me something, you're welcome to. I hesitate to put my email anywhere because I've been getting crazy amounts of spam. And my email is Elena at elenafouché.com. So that's ELENA at Elena again. ELENA Fouché, F like France, FOUCHER.com. If this video goes viral and 10 million people email me, I will probably shut that email down. That's okay. It's worth having in there anyway. And I suspect that it will not go viral. I suspect the idea, though, will now spread. And I'll see it in other places. And even people who've never seen, heard anything of this video will receive the ideas and improve on them. And that's really the point. So take it and run with it, my friend. It's yours. It's ours. It's ours. And it's only going to get better. I mean, there's a lot of things I don't know, like how do we convince everyone to release their pain and suffering to the sun? I mean, I know it's possible, but I wouldn't know how to explain it to you. I just did it to the best of my ability for me and the whole planet, all of us. And so on some level, it's done. And I think on a very real material level, it's not. I don't expect, even though it's 2 a.m., to wake up, to go to bed now. And why did I say even though it's 2 a.m.? That doesn't make sense. What I mean is that I don't expect, when I go out into the world tomorrow morning, in a few hours from now, for everyone to be like, oh, Elena, that was great. We all feel so light. So we have to figure out how to do that. I suspect that will come to us. Those of us that are ready for that, we will understand how to do it. And enough of us will do it that it'll happen. It'll just happen. And it'll happen for enough of us that it'll create like a big ripple effect. And then it'll happen for everybody, or enough people anyway. And I think, how do we go do the barter system? I think that, we need to, there's probably a even better system for everybody. And how do we learn the song lines, and how do we, align well enough and remember how to do that? I don't know. I also suspect that will come too, because it's in the, it's in our genes, it's in our DNA, because we have Atlantean DNA in us. So we know how to do it. Just have to wake that up. How do we do that? I don't know. So figure it out. Help me. I'll figure out my part as much as I can. But we're all in this together, my friends. So those are some things that need to be worked out. The discorporation and the incorporation. I love that. Is a funny use of that word, isn't it? Incorporation. Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's some big leaps that have to happen. And you know what? They're not actually that big. Because it's all in here. It's all in you. It's all in me. It's more like, is it Bruce Lipton's I was going to say epidemiology, but and neither is it epistemology. Oh God, I can't say anything. Epistemology. I can't even say the word. But it's neither of those. And in about 5 minutes after I turn off this video, I'm going to be like, it's, but whatever. Bruce Lipton's gene idea, well, DNA idea that you open the DNA that your environment and you are asking for, right? So if we start asking for that kind of stuff, that part of our DNA that holds those memories and that knowledge will open and we will access them. I think it's as simple as that. I feel like it's as simple as that. And whether that's actually what happens or something similar, yeah, I don't think it's that hard. I really don't. Yeah. But there's still like there's a lot of things to play with, you know, and I feel like moving into a whole space of, you know, this is profound, like learning, remembering how to share with each other and how to make things with no obligation, you know? It's no golden handcuffs. There's no going to work 9 to 5 because you have to work for food for your kids or for you or your grandma, whatever. There's no poverty. There's no, you know, I mean, okay. Okay, here's something. Also, we all know how to heal ourselves. So, okay, I break my arm. Just like I know how to incorporate, I know how to create, I know how to take matter and make things. I can help my body, help my bone re-knit itself. I mean, my body already knows how to do that, so I just help it so that I don't bleed to death first. And if it's a big enough injury, like maybe that would be a big enough injury, I can sing the song of, I need help. And so someone who hears that song, who knows how to help or who's willing to help will come, right? So no one has to die of horrible things, accidents or injuries or dismemberment. You don't need doctors. You don't need to worry about insurance or hospitals or aging and decaying and dying. Yeah, that's important, right? And so then maybe we don't even need food. I don't know, right? I mean, it keeps going. Like it's a pretty cool idea. So, or set of ideas. So, yeah, take it, run with it. I'm just reflecting, is there anything else that's important to say? Well, thanks to all of you for listening. Whether you're actually listening to this video or you're somehow, excuse me, sorry, through the ethers hearing this. Yeah, thanks. Thanks to humanity for doing our part. As we've been a big pain in the behind. We've been a big part of the confusion, so being part of the solution is nice. And thanks to all the teachers and friends and people who've shared wisdom and all that kind of stuff, so that I could put all these dots together so that when I received this, it made sense to me. I appreciate that. Yeah, and I guess thanks to this virus that's swimming around in my head. Because without it, I would probably not be up at 2 a.m. and listening. And as I said, I'm really looking forward to and have asked deeply that I learn things without pain and suffering. Do I really need to be this sick to have this kind of realization? No, I don't. So, anyway. Which is another thing. Like, what do we do when people kill each other? I don't know. When we discorporate each other. Maybe we don't, though. Maybe. So we have to figure out how to be so comfortable with each other, right? I mean, I think that's going to be a tough one because we're so bogged down, or well, at least the US is so bogged down. Well, Europe, too. Europe is not bogged down with police so much as we're bogged down here with institutions and government doing what we're told. And, that's awful. Okay. Thank you. I hope this is helpful. I'm very excited to see this happen, or some version of this happen, and I'm even more excited that I can finally see a viable transition. Because wow, it was really not so obvious. It was not obvious at all to me how that was going to work. And now that I see a possible solution, I'm open to what's going to happen. Like I'm like, okay, whatever happens, cool. As long as it's at least this good, if not infinitely better. Because, I get to decide that. In any case, the point is, I'm feeling hopeful, which is rare for me. So, yay. Huge hugs. I hope it's helpful for you. Thanks for listening in whatever capacity you're listening. And thanks for all that you have done, are doing, and will do to make your dream, which is our dream, a reality.